Allah in Islam is non-binary.
I used to live in Egypt, actually. There was this Egyptian guy telling me, like, if I ever found out that one of you was like a faggot, I would shoot you right on the spot.
Honestly, it's wild seeing activists stand for Iran when literally the people of Iran don't stand for Iran. Stick around to the end of the video though, because I'm going to explain exactly why I think this is all happening. And we have an actual gay refugee from a Muslim Middle Eastern country to spill all the tea. A huge Instagram content creator. Just about 10 years ago, 49 people were murdered in cold blood in Pulse nightclub. Do you remember that? By the Islamic terrorists?
LGBT organizations chose to not highlight that the terrorist was an ISIS Islamist. They didn't want to come off as Islamophobic.
Remember Pulse nightclub? 49 people were shot and killed by an Islamic terrorist?
Yes.
10 years later, we have kids on TikTok that are claiming to be queer activists, converting to Islam and wearing hijabs and promoting Islam.
I am a Muslim woman.
I'm looking for a man who's at least 6'1", not a Zionist, Muslim, or open to converting.
And supporting places like Iran, where it's literally illegal to be gay. How did we get from there to here? How did we go from that to LGBT activists or queer activists on TikTok wearing hijabs and burqas and converting to Islam?
I used to be kind of progressive. By kind of, I mean very.
Left, galloped off into this weird illiberal authoritarian place where you couldn't even have those conversations, and then you wind up with insanity like the Queers for Palestine, and because if you can't question anything, you're in a cult.
They just go with whatever is trending, and guess what? Right now, gay rights isn't trending, Muslim rights is trending. You ever see the meme on X where it's like LGBT rights, Muslim rights? It's like the two buttons and it's like they don't know which one to press. They literally have no mind of their own. Have you seen the new trends on TikTok with all the LGBT, or I should say, the queer activists wearing hijabs?
I have not seen that. My For You page is not set up there.
Mine is, because I talk about this for a living. I'm pro-Muslim as long as they're Americanized, right? I just want to make that clear. How do you think we went from that to literal LGBT or queer activists on TikTok wearing hijabs and converting to Islam?
I guess clout.
How did we get from there to there? I think it went from inclusivity. We went super inclusive that we became exclusive again. Like we wound up excluding ourselves. Like we're getting people into our space that don't want us in their spaces. Obviously, these people are not intelligent, unlike so many of you who already signed up to use today's sponsor, Hypnosio. It's a revolutionary self-hypnosis app designed to transform your weight loss journey by addressing the subconscious causes of weight issues. It actually helps rewire your brain's automatic food response and helps break emotional eating habits. I mean, I literally play paddleball for 6 hours a day, 3 times a week, and I was still struggling. Traditional weight loss methods alone can only go so far. Hypnosio helps you identify and fix those subconscious patterns that are holding you back from your weight loss goals and better sleeping habits. One guided session a day works wonders for me. And listen to this. People using hypnotherapy have lost twice the amount of weight compared to others using traditional methods alone. You can use code ARI15 for 15% off your first subscription. Make sure to go and support brands and companies that support our morals and this channel.
There's been a lot of hate towards our community. I definitely think that performative identification is a big issue.
It's not just on TikTok. I get targeted regularly because I'm a gay, Zionist, Jewish, Israeli, and American. My group was beaten up during the Washington, D.C. Pride March. We were spit on and jeered at during this World Pride. So it actually has physical manifestations in real life, not just social media.
It's real life consequences, right? A lot of Democrats and progressive leaders are bringing people into this country that are not actually pro-women or pro-LGBT. Most of them are protesting the deportation of these illegal immigrants. What I would say to that is, I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm not pro-open borders, but at the same time, I think it's important for us to realize, as a woman and as a gay person, a lot of these people that are coming into this country are not pro-gay and pro-women. And I don't think our community is thinking about that because they don't want to be called Islamophobists or racists. For the most part, Islam is against gay people and against women. A majority of Muslim city council people, and the first thing they did when they got into power was to ban all pride flags across the city. People enforcing their religion, which is basically what that is taking the pride flags away. They're enforcing their religion upon us.
I mean, I think that's wrong, and you could probably find the same thing in majority conservative southern cities.
I'm not pro-open borders. And that doesn't mean that I don't think immigrants are great. I think they are. But I think we have to start vetting people, our pro-American values and pro-Western values.
I think that there are extremes in every religion. The tenets of Islam are actually super loving, and people who subscribe to those tenets are very open, loving people just like Christians.
Have you seen the videos up in Michigan of people like the kids, Muslim kids and parents stomping on pride flags?
I mean, I think there's prejudice everywhere.
If we can, promote a version of Islam that's inclusive, I think that's positive.
If there was, I don't know if there is though. For me, I don't care what nationality you are, what religion you are, as long as you have Western values, I think you should be able to immigrate legally here into the United States.
I don't think that vetting the people that come into this country is necessarily going to stop people from doing terrible things in this country.
We should not be supporting Islamism and the Islamist movement that is against our LGBT lives.
It's not compatible. It's not compatible. I mean, it's different if you're Muslim and you're not Islamic. Because you could be both, right, or something?
There's a difference between Muslim, Islam, and Islamist.
Right.
25 to 35% of Muslims are Islamists who believe in violent jihadi terror.
So my home country is a theocracy, and in order to understand that for a Western audience, you would have to imagine a country in which the constitution is replaced by scripture, and every word of scripture is taken literally, and anything that is a sin automatically becomes a crime, punishable by whatever punishment is within the scripture. So in a setting like that, you already have so many of your personal rights and freedom taken away just as being a human being, and while you throw in homosexuality, it becomes so complicated because your mere existence is a crime punishable by death. Now, of course, you would hear stories about people who have escaped, about the memories, about the gatherings with their friends, the hookups, dating and all of that. And that is not to say that things have improved because the law has not changed. That sword is still hanging above your head. And most importantly, the law never will change because unlike first world countries where no one is above the law, in theocracies, someone is above the law and his name is God, and you cannot challenge the authority of God because that in itself is a crime punishable by death. Actually, still in the Middle East, although I know many people wouldn't consider Turkey Middle East, but nonetheless, I know Israel has the best record when it comes to gay rights. However, as a non-Jewish Iranian, it's quite unrealistic of me to imagine any immigration pathways to Israel, whether it's resident permit, work permit, refugee status. There's just no way. I would say Turkey is the place I would feel the safest, and I do feel the safest. I've been a refugee here for the past 8 years. Gay sex has been legal in Turkey since the 19th century. Social acceptance isn't perfect, but it is there to a certain degree. As long as you don't flash your lifestyle in anyone's face, you'd be fine, and that law enforcement is not out to get you. So you have to realize Islam is a religion that was not only born in the Middle East, but it also flourished and was developed in the Middle East as well. Christianity was born in the Middle East as well, but it mostly flourished in Europe, which is why it is more compatible with European culture and history. Islam just cannot do that because it is a foreign entity coming to Western cultures. Now, of course, due to freedom of religion and the separation of church and state, that is the standard of Western cultures today. So you cannot have any religion, Islam or any other religion, play any role in the policies, the legislative branch of the government of any of these countries. Now, if you want to practice your religion at home, you're free to do so. But when you bring your religion to the outside world and when you try to impose your religion upon other people or try to influence people from other countries' thinking, people who live in countries that are not theocracies, that is not okay. You cannot do that, and that becomes a destructive power. And this is my message to all the queer for Palestine people. You don't care about Palestine. You especially don't care about Palestinian queer people because you don't know anything about them. Otherwise, you wouldn't be supporting their biggest oppressor throughout history. In fact, you yourself are one of the biggest contributors to the oppression of people like me because you're so entitled and so privileged that you do not realize that when you go on the streets of New York and Toronto and London in your nipple tassels and dog colors and weird, ugly dress choices that looks like something you found at a dumpster behind the Goodwill and start chanting, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children," that clip made it to Iranian mainstream media. And if 10 years ago someone had told me that you're going to see footage of gay pride on Iranian TV, I would have had them admitted to a mental hospital because that would be like saying pigs can fly. But it happened because that video justified all the oppression that my people go through. That video was used as a warning, telling people that if we don't continue killing people like them, that's what's going to happen, and that's what they're going to do to your children. Stop pretending like you care about my people. You do not. The only thing you care about, and the only reason you've been interested in Palestine for the past 2 years, it's because it's the trend of the day. It gets you more views, it gets you more clicks, and we live in a pay-per-view world. So the only thing you care about is to feel good about yourself, to stay relevant, to keep the funds coming and filling your own pocket.
And I know a lot of people are going to call us Islamophobic, whatever, but whatever. But a lot of the gay demographic and the women demographic are fighting for these people who are from third world countries who do not have these Western values. A lot of these people that are coming into the country, do you think it's fair for somebody like me to say we have to kind of second guess this just open borders thing? I mean, now obviously the border's closed, but for me, I think we actually should take a step back and think about what we're doing here, because we're inviting these people into our country that are not necessarily Americanized. It's not about where they're coming from, it's about them being Americanized or not.
People immigrate for various reasons, from various different backgrounds, and it has nothing to do with where you're from, what religion you hold, the type of thing that you're going to do, or how you're going to treat other people.
Like if they're actually following the religion, it's not inclusive, and it's anti-women as well, you know?
Right.
You start to realize, my office, there was this Egyptian guy. If I ever found out that one of you was like a faggot, I would shoot you right on the spot. That's the kind of values that are coming over. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And those are the kinds of values that are coming over. It's just like, people will complain about like Christian religious extremism, but totally ignore when it's Islamic extremism.
Borders aren't real. I think anyone should be allowed in here. I don't think the framing of that question is completely fair. There's a lot.
I was trying to figure out how to frame it better, but I'm trying.
Like, there's a lot.
Of course, not every Muslim, I'm not saying that, but these people are coming from. The majority of these people that are coming from these countries, the majority of the people that are actually like following their religion, they are the religion says, women are less than.
Same thing about Catholics, about evangelical Christians. Like
Catholics are anti-women?
Well, they're anti-abortion, which is, in my opinion, anti-women.
I guess you can make that argument.
But we already have people here that don't value Western values as it is.
I would want to kick them out too.
Women can't communicate directly with God. Like, they're not allowed to be members of the clergy. Like, that's pretty misogynistic, pretty anti-women. And, like, that is, like, a thing that the Catholic Church has, like, put 2 toes down behind. They're like, no, women have to be nuns. They have to be caretakers. They can't be, like, leading the mass in the same way that men can. So for that reason, I don't think it's fair to, like, draw a large brush across a region like that. I also think anyone should be allowed in here, and I think it's really scary what's happening with immigration in the U.S.
They're trying to live a better life, trying to be better.
It's fair.
Yeah,
I understand it. I understand your perspective. I understand their perspective. Yeah. I'm just saying, but there's videos, like for an example, there's a video coming out of Michigan recently. I think it was last year, and then there's another video this year. The one last year of young kids with their Muslim parents or the Islamic parents stomping on pride flags, screaming at people. And I just want to make people aware, like we need to think about this. For me personally, I'm not pro open borders. I think we should have legal immigrants come here, but I think they should be vetted in certain ways. So my question to you is, do you think it's a smart idea, or do you think it's a good idea to keep inviting people from other countries that are not pro-American values?
Half like Scottish American, half Korean.
Okay.
My mom moved here from Korea. My dad's side of the family's been here since the colonial period, right?
Okay.
So since before the revolution, we were still colonies. So I have this kind of dual perspective on this. And at the end of the day, based on what we're seeing in Europe, based on what's going on over here in the US, I think assimilation is the most important thing. And I think people who come here who just don't value the same values that we have, who don't believe in America, who and sometimes are quite hostile to America and Americans.
A lot of them are coming over that are anti-American. They're not even waving the American flag.
It's not just. It's a lot of them are coming over illegally.
Yep. And waving their own country's flag, not even American's flag. You think you think they would be smart enough to realize, shit, I'm here illegally. Maybe I should at least act proud that I'm here.
I understand concerns, like everyone wants to be safe, but I think these concerns have been like manipulated and blown up a lot in a way
I think on both sides, to be fair. I think on both sides, I think it's being manipulated. I think they're making it seem like everyone that's coming in here is great, but at the same time, the right is doing the exact opposite. Everybody that's coming here is bad, and I don't think that's true.
My grandma came here from Switzerland, and she did it like quote unquote
the right way. So did my family from Italy.
I don't think immigrants are bad. I think a lot of people are saying like as a whole they're bad. I think they should come the right way.
We have to start thinking about who we're letting in.
They come here with a lot of hostility, and even some of the people who come here legally, like I work in tech, and we have a lot of H-1B people, and some people are so happy to be here because of the opportunities that America provides. But then you also have other people who come here, and they hate us so much, and we're really just this economic zone for them to make money and then go back home.
Because I think this, like New York especially, is very pro-immigrant because we're built on immigrants, right? And I think we should champion that, but I also don't think we should take away from the people who are doing it the right way and like working really hard to... A lot of people want to come here for the right reasons.
We don't respect ourselves enough to view ourselves as like a nation.
Right. A lot of people just viewing us as an economy. Exactly. And not as a moral system and a moral foundation for us, for a society.
It is scary to have some people come here and bring in like anti this and anti that.
I mean, the rates of anti-Semitism are insane right now. Really bad. A lot of anti-woman stuff, a lot of anti-LGBT stuff. And I don't think it's Trump because he was here 4 years ago and none of that, 8 years ago, whatever, none of this was happening.
Choosing who to come in on this country by like a weak signal like religion is going to actually work that well for stopping that. Like there's homegrown homophobia, like it's... I think homophobia...
There's homophobia here too, and I think we should stop that as well.
Yeah.
I agree.
I just don't think that we're going to stop it by not letting in like people from the Middle East who are like Islamic. And I think that even if someone doesn't think that I have the right to exist the way that I do and identify the way I am and love the people I love, like I don't think that means that they can't hope for a better life for themselves or come here.
When it comes to like this kind of attempt to import Sharia law into our communities over here, and it's just like, hold on.
It's about what is this bigger issue within human nature that we're facing.
We have a way bigger problem within this country. And like it's...
I agree with that, which is why I don't think we should be... I think we should fix the problems here first. I think there's a lot of problems here. I agree with you, but in saying that, I think that's why I believe we should focus on fixing the problems that we have here first before we're letting new problems in. So how did this all happen? We are in the middle of a war of misinformation. From feminists calling Trump's presidency and cabinet The Handmaid's Tale, while completely ignoring actual feminist issues and oppression, to being taught that it's impolite to talk about religion and politics growing up, to uncovering the insane amount of actual paid protesters at so many of these events.
What do you do for work?
I don't.
You don't work? Why not?
I don't have to.
So you did well.
I haven't worked since I was 27.
Now, I think she actually is working, and as a professional protester. Here's her protesting without her sunglasses on. She usually does have them on. Here's her saying HP profits from Israel's torture of Palestinian political prisoners. Here's her saying democracy is not for sale. Back again with the Palestine flag, and again with the South African flag. Now, it's not just her, as we know that they work in teams. Look at this blonde woman beside her. I found her at more protests than any other paid protester I've exposed in the past. I found her at close to 50 different protests.
More misinformation comes down to the actual teachings of Islam from non-Western countries. I mean, we see tons of people in the streets saying shit like this. In practice, we already know it's much different. Number two, people are afraid to criticize Islam and brown people. Check out this TikTok I did on this. Funny how the one religion that is the most open to LGBT people is the one most demonized. Literally, churches all over, at least New York City and places that I've seen, had pride services. You don't see that in Muslim places of worship, do we? Lack of intelligence across the board. Clarkson nails it.
The United States is facing a crisis of intellectual inequality. 60% of US citizens read at a 6th grade level, whereas the top performers are extremely intelligent. The gap, or the middle class of intelligence, is disappearing. Lower class of intelligence and the higher class is widening. This is going to be a huge problem in coming years, especially in a representative democracy. This is why many politicians who speak confidently and intricately on complex issues get framed as elitist rather than educated. Because educated will now be elitist, which will be a colloquial term for being morally superior, which people don't want to feel like they're being talked down to. Politicians and the entire political class is going to have to dumb themselves down to that 60% in order to be digestible.
If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already, because I post new videos every Sunday and sometimes on Thursdays. I will see you guys back here then with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Love yourselves. Keep calling out the bullshit. Bye.